Okay, hello everyone. Now it's 8 o'clock, so we can start right now. So welcome everyone. Wow, we have how many people are in Zoom today? We have almost like 16 people here. And then my name is Jay, Kim, and my Korean name is Chanjung. I'm from South Korea. So today's session is just solid for those who are interested about Oasis visa, which is startup entrepreneur visa here in South Korea. And then this is not organized by any Korean government agency or anything like that. We are not paid to run today's event. I have found that many of my friends from overseas, they moved to Korea or they want to move to Korea to start a business, but they don't really know how to start, and then they don't really meet any people who actually got the Oasis visa. So luckily, I do have a friend who have Oasis visa. So I asked them, do you guys mind to share your experiences and some of the questions? So that's how we organize today's event. And then everything will be recorded as well. So always you guys can go to YouTube, and then you guys can watch later and then share your friends too. So we do have some ready-made question. So we have almost like a 14 question, and then I don't think it'll take a lot of time to answer the question. After that, any of you guys have more questions, just please leave the message on the Zoom so that we will cover them one and then make sure we don't finish after 9 o'clock. But if we finish early, we also will finish early too. Okay, so I want to introduce today's speaker. So we have a Chris and we have a Christian. So maybe you guys can spend some time talk about who you are and just make a introduction. Chris, you want to start first?
Okay, sure. Hi everybody, I'm Chris. I'm currently living in Seoul, South Korea, and I'm Bulgarian. I moved 6 years ago to Korea, and I participated in a government sponsored program called K-Startup Grand Challenge. So that's the reason I came here. I got D10, I got D84, and I've been on D84 for the last, I think this is my 5th year on D84. So yeah, one of the first batches of this government program called K-Startup Grand Challenge. I love living in Korea. I'm enjoying it. I make friends here, and I run a company called Imaga. We do image recognition, image AI. So we basically provide a technology that powers image analysis, and we sell this technology to third parties, to different companies. So that's in a nutshell about me. I'll be one of the speakers, so you're gonna probably hear my story and parts of it. So I'll give the stage to Christian to introduce himself.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Christian as well. And I've been living in Korea for the last 5 years. At first, when I moved to Korea, I was working in different companies and also on the job seeking visa. But as of 2 years ago, I switched to the D84 visa and went through the Oasis program with all the courses in between. My company, we do product design, UX research, and we work with many clients both in Korea and outside. And it's very great to be here. I look forward to all your questions and helping you, go through your journey as well if you want to start your business in Korea as well. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so maybe a little bit of myself too. I'm based in Busan in South Korea. One of our hosts, Martha, she will talk about network later too. So I'm running the Startup Accelerator, and also we do run lots of events about the investing, etc. too. So if you guys are interested about Busan too, please let us know. And then we will start the first question. So Chris and Christian, what is your visa status before DA4, which is the DA4 is Oasis visa? Christian, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So before the D84 visa, I did work for a company in Korea. So I was on the E7 visa, but as it was a requirement to do the Oasis visa, I switched to the D10 too, which gave me 6 months to prepare for all the material, all the courses, all the points. And so, yes, I think as of now, it's still the requirement to do the visa. Maybe Chris also might have some input from that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a hard requirement to basically the path to D8 visa, to the startup visa, is to D10. And D10 is a temporary deal. They say it's 1 year max that you can stay on D10. Usually they issue D10 for 6 months, even though they can issue for 1 year, but they never do. And what I've heard, and this was the case with me, you can extend just once the D10 visa. I needed to extend before I prepare my company and stuff. So it was not a problem to extend. So yeah, before getting the D8-4 visa, I was on D10. And the D10 visa, it has its own requirements, but I don't think it's too difficult to get for anybody who is already in the country. If you're like on e-visa, you can easily switch to D10.
Okay, cool. And the second question is why Korea to start a business? There were many other countries, like other countries in Asia, etc. too. But why you guys did you choose Korea? Chris,
can
you
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was like, to make the long story short, I didn't choose Korea. Korea chose me. But basically, I didn't know much about Korea. With my company, we had a couple of clients already, Korean clients, and there was this opportunity to apply for the government's program called, we thought it's like a pure accelerator for a startup. It turned out to be something different. But anyway, we applied for this program called K-Startup Grand Challenge. We got accepted. I almost forgot that we applied. Then a couple of months later, in Korea, they send the information last minute. I almost forgot that we applied for it. And they said, oh, there's like an interview tomorrow. And then we had the interview, which was next day. They just let us know like the day before have the interview. So we had to go to an interview. And then they said, oh, in 2 weeks, some of your company needs to come to Korea for 2 months. So it was like, a lot of last minute arrangements. Yeah, but this is how I came. I mean, the story is quite interesting, but we don't have time for it.
Okay, next time. Okay, what about Christian?
My experience was more of a fresh off the boat. I was in the UK at the time, and I was very interested in moving to an East Asian country, but I had Korean friends at my university, and they exposed me to the culture, and I did a lot of research into it and realized that because I was interested in startups at the time, that Korea was going through a growth stage, and there was a lot going on. There was a lot of government investment. So I just thought right then to have a try, go to Korea and just figure out for 6 months to a year. I could always go back. But through the process, I went to a lot of networking events, conferences, got some work, and then eventually met something I didn't say before, but I'm also a community leader of Seoul Startups, which I've been involved in for the last 3-4 years. And through that community, we've been helping to vitalize the startup ecosystem here. And I mean, it's been 5 years since then. I don't think I regret anything, because Korea is such a dynamic, fast-paced environment, and there's a lot of interest outside towards in. So it was just a matter of curiosity and a bit of risk taking. I thought, why not give it a shot? And here we are 5 years later.
Cool. Okay. So how long have you guys running your company for? Chris, how many years?
In my case, I opened my company, I think sometime in February 2017. I had to open it actually to get the visa, because this is one of the requirements for D8-4. So yeah, it's 5 years.
5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you start to get when you got the Oasis visa first, and then you register your company.
I think no, that was not the case. In my case, it was not how it worked, because like I remember I was here for a government program, and then we won 4th place, so they had to issue the award money, but they had like you know, they have problems issuing award money to my personal account because it's pretty much a lot of money. So
Okay.
they wanted me to open a business and put the award money into the business. Anyway, that's the outcome of the program, to run a business in
Okay.
Korea. So I don't blame them for that, but I had to actually rush a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't
Okay.
regret it. It worked out pretty well, pretty okay.
Okay. So 5 years. What about you, Christian?
Not yet 5 years. I think I'm just turning 2 right now, but the work I was doing a little beforehand, I think the only reason why I switched to the D84 was because my visa was running out at the moment, and it motivated me to switch to this visa. But I don't think much has changed, although it's a lot more structured now, and you know, through the process you have to get lawyers, you have to get an accountant, there's a lot more tax filing and all that. So yeah, that's it's been 2 years, but I feel that the work I've been doing has been
More than 2 years.
a bit more than 2 years for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So how did you work the DA4? When did you complete the DA4 and how long does it take? And from when you started, like which month to which month, like how was it like?
It
Sure.
really depends how prepared you are with your because I don't know how many people are aware what D84. It's a startup work visa. So basically, they're like, it's a work visa, but it comes with specific requirements. So basically, you have to run a technology-based, some kind of innovation type business. Like you cannot get D84 and run a pizza place or like a coffee shop. It won't be possible. Maybe you can get it for 1 year, but then if they find out, because there's like specific documents and there's specific income brackets that you need to prove that you got money for. So you have to run a tech related business, and it's very broad what tech is. It can be many things, but as I said, you cannot like do like, let's say, do a Macaulay or like soju or just you know, sell pizza. That's not gonna work anyway. So there's like a bunch of documents that you need to provide, and the initial set of documents are a little bit different from the documents that you need to provide for extension. But basically it's a point-based system, so you have to have like some points, like 80 plus points, and you can get points from different stuff. Christian, do you remember where did you get points from?
Yeah. So I had to do so it was a point system for me. So I think, so I incorporated in January 2021, but in 2019, the summer 2019, I was working at the time for a company, but I just saw the Oasis program and I saw that they were doing courses. So 3 weekends that summer, I did Oasis 1, 2, and 4, which it eats up most of your weekend, but you know, you can always get off and do whatever afterwards. But I collected those points because they are bonus points. I mean, some of the others would be, you know, having your own technical patent, you know, they're much harder, or going to a Korean university or things like that. So I collected those points back in 2019. But then when it was 2020, end of 2020, and that's when I wanted to do this visa. There were a lot of other steps I had to do. Oh, I had topic 3 at the time, which helped. And I think a bachelor's degree was part of it. But then, you know, I called up Oasis and they connected me to a lawyer and also a patent filer. And those were the next steps. And I think that whole process from actually doing it to getting the visa, that was 2 months, December 2020 and January 2021. But so yeah, long story short, it took 2 months to do the whole thing, but I already collected the points from 2 summers ago. So yeah.
So basically, this is how it goes. As Christian explained, there are like 2 components in the points. There's like one component that's a must-have. Like you have to have like there are 2 pools of different ways you can collect points, but you have to have at least one must-have component. And it can be intellectual property, a patent, utility, or intellectual property application. This is something interesting that you should consider, because to get the intellectual property, a patent is so hard. It's very hard, but everybody can get everybody can submit an application. So with just submitting an application of a design or like of any idea, there's a lawyer that's going to help you to file. You cannot file yourself. You have to pay a lawyer to file. You're going to get the needed one of the needed components. So it's either patent application application for patent, or you're on 3 years research visa, E3 in Korea. So if you're on E3, you can apply without a patent, or you've been through Oasis 6 or 9. Oasis 6 and 9 are actually acceleration programs that are run by Korean government. So these are very difficult to get as well. So basically, from all the must-have requirements, you have to get one. And if you're a researcher, you're good. If you've been through, like in my case, Startup Grand Challenge, it's the government-run accelerator that has Oasis 6 mark or Oasis 9 mark on it.
Okay.
But in the most common case, you won't have this thing. So your only chance is to spend $700 and apply for and file application for patents or like for design. Yes.
Okay, so like you guys actually create a patent, and also do you mind to like share a little bit about like what kind of patent was it, so that people can have an idea, you know?
So in my case was Startup Grand Challenge. This accelerator they didn't attend it, they were registered. But in the case of well, anyway, you have to submit a like application for a patent, and Christian can tell you a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in my case, you know, although I do work in design, I do work for tech companies, and there is some development involved. I could angle on the software, the company being a software development company rather than design. And what my lawyer and I worked on was submitting a UX UI flow that just kind of had something that was a little bit more different or something innovative. And I shared a UI design and with some annotations, and he translated that into technical patents terminology. But yeah, that was submitted, and as soon as I was submitted, he sent back the certificate, and I used that certificate to get that point. So it's case by case depending on what company you have, but the lawyer would have the best suggestion of how to submit, be it technology or. So yeah, that was my situation.
Okay, cool. So now you think back, is there any tip you think you guys want to share? I think it's or
Don't worry
school-based.
about it. Like the most important part here, this is really easy actually. It sounds so complicated, but you need to file an application. It doesn't mean that you have to get to receive a approval for the patent or for the design. The only thing you have to do is to submit it. After you submit it, your lawyer is going to be able to send you a document that says this application was submitted. This is going to give you enough points, and it doesn't matter if this application is going to be successful or not, you still get the points. Usually to evaluate a patent or design, it takes 6 months to 2 years. So it's impossible for you, to apply and wait until you get the results and then like go for the visa. So basically, if you already have the patent, you get 80 points. You can just go with your patent and register for a startup visa. But if you don't have it, from the just the application, you will get like depending on you apply for utility or full-fledged patent is 20 points, and what the Christian did design is just 10 points. So depending on how many points you need, you can decide what kind of like a patent application you're gonna get. But don't worry, the lawyer knows how to do it. So you just need to file, pay the money. The lawyer does his job and gives you this document, and you apply and you stack it with all the other documents. So it's not
Okay.
like a difficult thing. This is not the most difficult thing. The most difficult thing is to collect up to 80 points, because you need, depending on your situation, it might be difficult. If you haven't studied in Korea, you're gonna have less points, so you need to get more Oasis classes. Oasis classes are quite busy these days. A lot of people sign up for Oasis classes without the intention or with the intention to apply for this visa. So sometimes it might be difficult to sign up for a class. A good thing during COVID was that they switched to online. So before that, I had to go physically to the class, and I believe Christian had to go.
Yes.
So it's very boring and a lot of repetition, a lot of the same things. To the Oasis 1 teaches you one thing, Oasis 4 teaches you same thing, but like on a different level kind of, and it's so boring, but you have to get the documents. I'm not sure if right now they have online, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but if they have online for the Oasis courses, I highly recommend to, if you're actually interested in getting the visa, I think the most time-consuming thing is actually the Oasis courses. So if you have intention for, let's say, next 6 months or next year to get on this visa, I suggest you do the Oasis courses right now. No matter if you're going to need it or not, they are free of charge. You're going to learn a little bit about Korean patent law, like a little bit of Korean culture, business etiquette and stuff. They're not useless. They're well designed depending on how interested you are in the topic. But yeah, if you plan to get on the visa, just go sign up for a Oasis class. And what I've heard from Jay and from Marta, it's quite easier to sign up for Oasis class, not in Seoul, but in the province. Like, for example, in Busan or like in Gyeongju or other place. Gyeongju, I don't think they have a Daegu, and yeah.
Yeah, so it's true. So from last year, Korea government, they start to give the Oasis program, not in Seoul, other cities too, like Daejeon, Daegu, Busan. So they had other problem because they didn't have many people who sign up for the classes. So I'm pretty sure that I think it's good to get the point in advance whenever you have a time. So, just sign up, and then from the source, other internal source, I heard, I think they want to really be intentional, Korean government, from this year to bring more foreign startups. So I'm pretty sure that you guys will have a good chance. Okay, let's move to the next question. So so what about like you guys, when you do Oasis program, applying for the patent, etc., like is the Korean government, they support you like with the finance, or do they have any follow-up program after the Oasis? Like how does it work? Like you have they continue after the program, or like what's going on with the Oasis and starting a business, etc.
Yes. Maybe Chris might have more about the post when you get the post Oasis onboarding, but I did think they were quite helpful, calling up and linking me with the right lawyers and patent filers. I do know they have a lot of resources. I do know that they do offer mentoring and coaching. In my case, it's not that they followed up with me afterwards. It probably had to be a bit more manual to set things up, but maybe Chris might have some input on after getting the Oasis.
Yeah, as you know, like different agencies, government agencies run different Oasis programs, different courses, and some of them are really helpful. They want you to succeed. Some are not that much involved. So it's kind of like a hit or miss situation. In my case, the one that was running the Oasis program, they were super helpful. So even I didn't ask, they offered Oasis 5, which is a startup coaching and mentoring, which actually gave me extra points. And when they were running this Oasis 5 program, they also were sponsoring half of the incorporation tax of the company. So basically, I did Oasis 5. I had to meet with them and we discussed, things about my business in Korea. They tried to match me with like appropriate business partners, give me business advice, but also they paid half through the program. They have paid half of the registration. I think it's 1.2 million to register a full-fledged company. So there's another catch that in order to succeed with D84, you have to register POBIN. This is like full-fledged commercial company. It's not like a small company thingy. Like there are a lot of freelancers in Korea who like on like a kind of like a small company. I don't know what's called, Jay. It's not POBIN, right? Something else.
Kane's help.
Kagan.
Yeah.
Kane, like individual
Kane,
company.
Kane. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a personal company. So for this visa for D84, you have to register as like a full-fledged company. There's some things that are quite uncommon for somebody who is from Europe. For example, when I had to register for the company, you have to have a guardian put on the papers. And usually this is a Korean person. And this guardian, my lawyer said, okay, I'm going to put like a person here. He's going to be like a guardian of the company. And then you can get him out immediately after the company is registered. Obviously, it's a very, how to say, rehearsed step. It's required by the Korean law. So don't be scared about it. It's not a scheme. It's just like what the Korean law requires when there's a foreigner involved. So in my case, I had like a guardian, like somebody like as like a co-founder of the company for 2 days, and then he was like signed off automatically.
I think same with me.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard requirement. It felt strange at the beginning, but don't be scared. All of us went through this, and there's not going to be a like a fraud or anything, because this is like a shell company. There's nothing in your company when you register. So who's gonna want to get you like empty company with no income? Anyway, so these are like things that you have to. I'm not sure if Oasis 5 still offer this, but it's pretty good program. It's not offered as a schedule. So you have to, when you go to other programs, like I believe after Oasis 4, you can ask your organization if you can also take the Oasis 5, and it's custom made, and it's offered by some of the organizations depending on if they are they have applied to run the program or not. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I think there'll be lots of more technical question, I think, about the visa. And then this will be the last question from the primary question. And then I think we can go to the chat and then we can see, I don't think we cannot promise you guys answer. We have all those answers, but I'm pretty sure that we can get something from the Ministry of the SME or something too. Okay, so all of you guys, like, kind of foreigner, when you enter Korea, I think you have to enter Korea with a tourist visa at one point or employment visa or something. And then is it possible to set up the business without ARC card? Or like, what do you have any experience with it? How does it work? Like from anyone came from tourist visa and to get the ARC card, that means they have to get the D10 first and something like that. So do you know the answer for that, Chris? Like people can set up the company without ARC card?
Yes, foreigners can set up a company in Korea. I mean, these big corporations, like foreign entities that have Korean companies, they don't move their CEOs to get like a work visa here. But it is possible. It's fine, but you cannot be on payroll. So you can be an owner of the company, but you cannot be on a payroll until you're D84. So basically you can get your company set up, but you cannot be on payroll. You cannot get money, you cannot get a wage from this company before you have the work permit, before you have the D84. So basically, I believe you can open a company on D10. This is how I was forced by Korean government to actually open a company on D10. And it was possible, but then I could not put myself on a payroll until I get D10 visa. Because this is when you can get like a salary and paid like for insurances, like the social and security and health security. So yeah, it's possible. But then that's the thing, you cannot get income from the company. You personally cannot.
Yes. I think it's a prerequisite to be on the D8, the D10 visa before. I came to Korea with a pre-application for the D10, so I had it before coming into Korea. Yeah, I think Oasis would have the best response for this, and they do have a hotline, and it's worth calling them up. Though I think it might be recommended to get an ARC or to be on the visa, so that you know, you're an entity in the country and you're paying taxes and all that. Otherwise, you probably have to have a representative.
It's not possible to get on D10 if you come on tourist visa. That's no possibility. So in order to get D10 visa, you have to apply outside of the country, or you have to be in the country already, but on e-visas or like student visas.
Okay.
So you cannot just come to Korea as a tourist and go apply for D10. That's not possible.
Okay.
Basically,
Also, that question about D4 switching from D2, D4 to D10, is that possible?
D4?
D2 or D4?
Student visas are possible. It's just
Oh,
the
yeah.
working
After
holiday
graduate.
visas are not possible.
Yeah, working holiday. If you want
H1s.
yeah. If you're like a student visa or you're on any e-visa, work visas, you can switch to D10. This is how a lot of teachers that like got their contract terminated, they switch to D10 and they search for job either for like e-visa or like for the startup visa. But yeah, it's a little bit more complicated because on D10, you have to prove that you're actually looking for opportunity and you're on a general queue at the immigration. They're not super nice, so be ready for like a little bit of rough time at the immigration. For D84, you're going to be on the VIP section. So when you go to the immigration, there's like a big hall with all the visas and they give you like hard time on the right. But on the left are the selected ones. So the minute you start like doing D8, you'll be on the left and there is no appointment. You don't have to book. You just can show up. If you don't have all the documents, they're pretty nice. They're gonna tell you to send them an email or come tomorrow, so you can go. If you go without some of the documents, they will tell you which documents you can do. And also there is like the way the immigration is done in Korea is pretty convenient, unlike in my country, but they have a bank close by, so you need to get a bank document. They also have like what is it called, the Chumin Center, like there's like a Chumin Center for like local taxes documents, and also there's a tax office. So these are the three offices that you might end up visiting, even though I reapply every year. Every time I go, there is a new document that I don't have, but it takes 30 minutes to go to one of these, buildings, and they're just, 10 minutes away, like basically next block. So it's pretty convenient. You just don't need to panic. They're not there to, cut your heads. You just need to have the documents and prove everything.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I heard that there are less than 100 people who have a D84 visa in Korea. Just I'm curious that, do you have your visa number, Chris? What's your number?
I'm not sure if
visa number.
Yeah, that's what the ministry people, they were saying, that there are actually the Oasis visa only exists less than 100 people or something.
There's
So
like
from the number, I think
I don't know my number.
the second part of your IRC number, maybe that's the number.
Oh, but that was the number I had since coming in. That hasn't changed. Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe if that was my first visa, maybe my ARC would reflect that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the other question, I think, is from Katie. And then, is there any issue working remotely on your business is based in another country while on?
I like this question. Yes, if you don't have an accountant, a tax accountant in Korea. So I do travel every now and again, and I do work abroad. Nothing changes as long as the clients you work with are fine with it. As long as you issue home tax Korea invoices to those clients if they're in Korea. But if you invoice to clients outside, your tax accountant would ask for that material, for those documents, and then process it so that you pay tax based on that. So the only issue working abroad is as long as you are including that VAT into the final price and etc. It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, I was working remote last summer, and I renewed my visa just before I went to Europe this winter. And the only documents they need are, you know, proof that you are paying your taxes, that you're not in huge debt, that, you know, you're running your business clean, and yeah, everything in between. So it's possible to work remote as long as you do have someone who's on top of all of the documents that need to be filed quarterly, yearly. Maybe Chris also. I know Chris travels.
Yeah,
All the
on
time.
his Instagram. Yeah, so he travels the world. So
I think the question for if it's from Katie, it's are there any issues with working remotely on your business that's based in another country while on D10? So basically, if you
Okay.
have like a business abroad and you want to, you know, register a company here, I think there is no problem. There is like no double taxation laws in Korea, unless you're American. I don't know like how what's the deal there, but you know, America is a bit weird about it. But like for Europe, if you have like a European company and you work remotely from Korea and you tax your clients on your European, I mean, Korean government have no saying. They cannot basically track what you do and how you do at your personal time. But if you have you know, if you have a company in Korea, as Christian said, you have to, you know, if you want to, you can tax them. You can send like a tax invoice with your Korean company. The good thing about this is there's no VAT that you need to pay. So that makes it a little bit easier, like especially if you work with the European Union. So when I receive money from the European Union, I don't pay VAT, which is pretty good. But of course, you know, there's the tax, the income tax, which in Korea is 10%. It's not bad. A lot of other European countries going to tax you way more. So you need to compare and see what's best for you. In my case, it's pretty much the same. I have Bulgarian company, I have Korean company. 10% flat in Bulgaria, 10% flat in Korea. But to maintain the D84 visa, you need to prove income. So next time when you go to extend, they're going to ask a bunch of documents about your company income and your personal income. So they're like two different brackets. Like the documents that you need to submit for extension are quite different from the initial package for getting the visa. So in order to extend the visa, you need to prove that you have some income, like personal income, and your company is generating some income. So that's why I prefer to, you know, invoice clients with my Korean company. So I get income here. I get like I have a wage that I live with, and I have like social and health care coverage here in Korea. And also from the last year, you have to fill in a special form stating how much is your income. So yeah, they do take care of this. How much is enough for them, I don't know, but so far I didn't have any problem with the amount of money that I was going through my company.
Okay. So basically, like, they don't really check how much you have on, like your company is on, like just kind of they see
They
that
do.
your income, they do?
They do. You submit like your income for 1 year back,
Mm-hmm.
how much social security you paid, and your personal income. So your company income, they do care. You have to have all your taxes paid this year. I forgot to pay some like 30,000 garbage tax or whatever it's called. So I had to go to the to the treatment center to pay that. Also, they're pretty strict with the bracket of income that you put on your documents. So there's like a different way it's taxed. Influencer money, let's say if you're like on entertainment visa, there's like a different tax. And I've got a couple of, you know, I participate in a couple of TV programs, and they put me under the wrong code. So it showed in my year income taxes like an influencer money, like a creator money, and they're not happy with it. So very careful. It's full-fledged company. It needs to be like under the articles that your company operates. is it advertisement or like software service and whatever. When you register your company, there are going to be some articles saying
Yeah.
what the business and what kind of what things you can provide. So you need to make sure that this matches with all the things that you do. So you have to be a little bit careful. In my case, it was like $300-400. It was just one time. She said, okay, it's not okay, but I mean, it's not like a pattern. Maybe you made a mistake, but you have to be careful with this. And for that, you need accountant.
Okay, cool. I think many questions, I think you guys cover lots of answer anyway. I will just go a couple more questions. So do you think that is it possible to apply for patent? I think Luai, she or he asked, from the actual startup idea that you will run, like what do you think? I think it's very critical to get a point from the applying patent. So like the patent someone is applying can be different from the business idea you guys can run, or what do you think?
I think we covered this before. It's much better just to file the patent rather than wait until the patent comes. In my case, I filed the application, which gave me, I think, was 10 points prerequisite. But the patent didn't get approved until many months later, maybe 6 months. And by then, I didn't really have to confirm it or pay to apply. So it's very easy. My recommendation is to connect with Oasis and talk to them about your circumstances, and they will link you with the right corporate lawyer, the patent lawyer, who will help you with that process. But it's much more easy to file a patent, and they'll tweak it to what your business is and what would be easiest route.
It's the only way to file. I mean, in our case, the only way to file for a patent as a foreigner is to a lawyer, because only lawyers have like access to this, I don't know, some Korean system, which
patent registry or
this document like with a Giro on it saying that you've applied to the patent office. But yeah, don't worry about it. It's just like formality, just like pay the money. The lawyer knows how to, you're gonna get this money, these points. You just need to
100%.
pay. Yeah.
Okay. So like, so is it possible to apply for Oasis visa outside Korea? Like, someone want to run the company in Korea, but is it any way they can have get all those points to have a Oasis visa, or actually at one point in their life, they have to come to Korea and take the government run classes? What do you think?
It's
maybe
yeah.
Chris.
There is a way, but it's very limited way. I mean, you cannot get enough points if you don't do Oasis.
Right? Okay. So it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So you'd either have to have $100,000 investment.
Yeah, that's the only way. So you
or an existing patent or utility ready. So it's all done.
Okay. So anyone has $100,000 investment and have already existing patent, these people,
it's like a capital. You just have the money. You can put the money into the bank.
And then they can get a Oasis visa right away. That will be more than enough for them to have a point to get a Oasis visa.
Maybe, I think the Oasis hotline on their website would have, if you call them up, they were very helpful with me and they spoke really good English. So I think they would have the most accurate answer for sure.
So one thing that I have to warn you about is that the hotline is pretty good, but it's not the immigration office. So usually what they tell you, what the set of documents that you need to provide is a slightly different from what the immigration office requires. But there is no way you can call the immigration office. Like the hotline is Oasis consultation, and like for different visas. Even if you call the visa consultation for hotline, they're gonna connect you with like some company that runs this for them. So expect that the list of documents that you're gonna be given might be slightly different from what you're gonna might say is you might think you have all the documents, you go to get the visa and they require one more document. It happens every time I go, even though I call them 3 times and they give me and sometimes they give like the hotline gives you like really strange things. They ask you last time 2 years ago when I was extending, there were like some changes. I wanted to hear what the changes are. They said that I need to go get the x-ray for tuberculosis. I didn't, and I got my extension. So just, you know, you need to be, just to warn you, it's not too difficult, but there might be another document that you need to provide.
Ping pong, go to the office, come
Okay.
back.
And also
Okay.
it's case by
And like
case.
a Korean style. Yeah.
I'm good at sending emails with checklists, the immigration hotline. They sometimes send emails with the checklist. It's in Korean, but definitely run by the checklist. That's how a lot of government bodies work. They just look at the checklist. There might be extra documents, but the best approach. Yeah, and if you have anyone Korean with you who can help, that also helps.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And then I think I'm afraid that I will pronounce your name not correctly. Loai is raising her hand. Do you have any question? You can go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for answering my question, but it was about, so my question is about if the idea itself, not about the application procedures. For example, if I apply for a patent idea and the idea is about IoT device that I invented, but the startup idea I want to open in the future is about selling cybersecurity services. So the patent is not matching the startup idea itself. Is that possible?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can have patent for food and you can still get the points. It doesn't matter.
Okay, understood.
I imagine it's the items of business you do afterwards with that company, because when you go to the corporation lawyer, you have to be quite specific under the articles Chris mentioned.
Yes.
What business actions you'll be doing. So if it doesn't link with the hardware you have now, maybe that would be an issue. But as Chris just said,
Really?
it's initial filing, because in my case, when it came to setting up the company, actually my corporate lawyer told me to just write as many articles as possible, as many different scopes of work, because at the time I was also doing community building, so there might have been scope of work there. So even though on paper my company is a software development company, the articles just encompass so many different parts, so it covers anything that comes in. So maybe when it comes to incorporating your company, you can add some articles that cover anything to do with the IoT device you have.
Yes.
But yeah, the lawyer would probably have some better recommendations for your case. But
Yeah,
that was my
Yeah,
experience.
you don't have to worry about it. And you can later on change the articles that the company registration covers. I did it with JD this year. She added a couple of them. She helped me to edit the articles. So even though it's not originally in your incorporation document, there's an online process. You pay a little of tax and it's done in 30 minutes. So you don't have to worry about this.
I
Okay.
understand.
Next.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. And then next question, Banya. Do you have any question?
Yeah, still regarding to the conversation with the lawyer, especially when you are trying to register first for the patent. So I was actually asking on the comment section, what does utility stands for in comparison with design, utility and what is it? Design, right? If I'm not mistaken, probably. Yeah,
So
utility
what's the
and
question again?
Sorry.
no, the question is, I'm not reaching the question yet. So my concern is more about how much it's okay to open your idea, even with a lawyer. I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical in nature, and I have I attended the Oasis classes almost 2.5 years ago. I've been here in Korea more than 3 years. So I was a little bit like, how much should I be telling? Because my background support for more detailed explanation of how to cover the patent. So maybe this is the question first. If you need more explanation, I can go more.
Yeah, no. So for the application for getting the visa, you don't actually, we explained many times already, you don't have to have a patent. Like the patent is going to give you 80 points. If you have the Oasis, you already have some points. The patent comes in 3 years. If you apply now, you're going to have the patent maybe in 3 years, 2 or 3 years. So it doesn't work fast. So what you need to do is just like file like a dummy application, like, and put anything. You don't, it can be anything. In my case, I applied with my company brochure for a design, just to get the 10 points that I needed for a design application. So it's not a patent, it's going to be rejected anyway, but you just need to get the points for applying. I mean, it's not the optimal thing, but they know. Like the lawyers, you're gonna connect. They're not gonna come sit with you, talk about your idea. They're gonna go straight to the point. Give me the money. I'm gonna apply right now. Give me one sentence about your company. I'm gonna alter it and apply with it. That's it. It's like 10 minutes conversation. They're not interested in your patent idea. They're not interested in anything. They just need to get the job done. They can get your money. Their money, you get your document that you need for the points. That's it. It's just a formality, let's say.
So, I mean, don't show them your idea, your innovative idea. Just find an angle that's just worth sharing. It could be your company logo, or, you know, even as some design. And I think that'll be good enough just to get the design application point. You don't have to show the whole apply for a patent, because that will take too much time. The other thing is, you mentioned that you did the Oasis classes 2.5 years ago. I will double check the validity of those certificates, because sometimes they might expire.
I don't think they expire, no.
Oh, they don't?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you
And
very
then
much.
the next question with the mic.
Hello, guys. Maybe you already answered this question, I'm not sure, but I'm right now under a working holiday visa, and I was wondering if just to start registering to the process of Oasis, do I need to be on another visa, or is it when I'm going to get the D10 visa that I will need to leave the country and then go back?
I think I know that answer. What I heard from the KIST with the organizer to do the Oasis visa, you can go to the Oasis class with any type of visa, doesn't really matter. I think you still can go and get the score. So, but when you apply like for the everything all together, I don't know whether you are eligible with the H1 visa. But if just it's a kind of a point system. Korean system is very simple. Korean, like we like to mark the scores and then add everything. They don't really care about you are eligible or not. Just they so you now while you are having working holiday visa, if you have a free time, I think it'd be great that you go and just take the classes and then fill out the scores. And then when you need a DA4, I think you can apply it together.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
I believe they're gonna, if there's like a lot of application forms, I'm not sure now, but like before, maybe now they're like more agencies running the Oasis program. But before, the waiting time was quite significant. So they're gonna give priority to people who are already on the respective visas to get the class. But maybe now it's not the case, because there are like a lot of agencies running the Oasis program classes.
Okay.
Okay, and then maybe we will have one more question, and then later just you guys can send us message or something. Ahmed, it'll be your turn.
Yes, thank you. My question is that if I'm still a student right now, but I am getting an opportunity to launch a startup, so is it possible for me to go from, without finishing my degree, go from student visa to startup visa directly? And secondly, can I continue my studies on the startup visa? That is my question.
You cannot. There's like a hard requirement for you to have like a higher education document. So you need to be graduate. And that's the requirement for D10 as well. So even to get D10, you need to have like a some kind of graduate diploma, like a bachelor's or master degree.
From Korea or from anywhere?
From anywhere.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's degree from my home country, but I am for my PhD in here. So
Yeah,
that,
then you can, yeah.
Then,
But
okay.
if you're on a
Um,
scholarship, it doesn't,
D10
if
for
you're on a
me,
scholarship, maybe you cannot. Because then
the
with the-
D10
Yeah,
for me,
if I'll jump in, if you're on Korean government scholarship or a scholarship by your university, I would double check with them first if you can change your visa, because your visa might be tied to your scholarship and you might
Exactly.
not be able to get any more scholarship money once you change your visa. So that's a concern. It's not from the immigration side, it's from the institution that's running your scholarship program.
right. Thank you.
Okay, good. I think we are, wow, we have many questions. And then actually, before Lunar New Year, I had the opportunity to meet the person who founded the Oasis Visa in Korea, who worked for the Minister of SME. So she was very surprised to hear that like we organized something like that. So she said that she wanted to come today, but she just called me that she had just some other like, family, issue. She couldn't come. So I know that I think Korea, obviously, thank you anyway, on behalf of Korea, not on behalf of Korea, but interest to start the business in Korea. And the one thing I'm for sure, I know that I think Korea government, they love to have a more foreign startup. So I hope getting a visa, everything it will be much easier for you guys. And then there are lots of miscommunication because language, etc. But I think everything will be getting better. And then thank you everyone for coming today. And then maybe I just can send you guys the wrap-up email in 24 hours. And then yeah, thank you everyone for today. And then before we finish, I want to give the stage to Martha. Martha can talk a little bit about the Seoul startups, Sasa startups, so those people can have more information in the future.
Yeah, so I'll be brief because I know everybody wants to go. So we run a nationwide organization community with over 4,000 members at the moment called Seoul Startups, and also one based in the south of Korea called Southside Startups. And we aim to support not only foreigners, but also Korean founders in building and connecting with the global startup community. So if you're interested, make sure to join our communities. Stay updated. We'll be organizing events like this, but also more networking events. So make sure to connect with us on our appropriate channels. So if you have any questions, find me on LinkedIn, find me on Seoul Startups Slack, and I'll be sure to circle back to you. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. So bye-bye, everyone. Bye.
thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.